Explosive new reports claim Princess Anne has delivered a final ultimatum behind palace walls, demanding that Queen Camilla return a selection of the late Queen Elizabeth II's jewels that were allegedly shared or loaned only on the condition of respect for the former monarch's legacy. Insiders say the confrontation, if true, exposes a deep fracture over who has the moral, not just legal, right to the most symbolic pieces in the royal vault. With Buckingham Palace refusing to confirm or deny a word, the rumor has detonated into a wider question of ownership, legacy, and legitimacy. But the detail sparking the loudest whispers is not about which jewels might be retrieved, it's why Anne is acting now, and what she knows that the public does not yet see. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Royal tension is unfolding behind the palace gates, and this time, the storm is centered on none other than Princess Anne and Queen Camilla. Explosive new reports suggest that Princess Anne has drawn a line in the sand, issuing what insiders are calling a final ultimatum, a demand for Queen Camilla to return a collection of jewels that once belonged to the late Queen Elizabeth II. These aren't just any royal gems. They are said to be pieces steeped in the weight of history, personally cherished by the late monarch, and meant to represent her enduring legacy, not to become personal property or political tokens in palace power games. Sources close to the royal household claim that the tension began quietly after Queen Elizabeth's passing, when questions emerged about the distribution of her private jewelry collection. While some pieces were formally inherited and catalogued under the royal vault, others, according to insiders, were loaned or entrusted to specific family members under certain conditions. One of those conditions, reportedly outlined by the late Queen herself, was that they remain symbols of her lifetime of duty and should never be used for personal gain or display outside royal protocol. Princess Anne, known for her loyalty and fierce sense of duty, has allegedly taken it upon herself to uphold that condition, no matter who she might offend in doing so. The situation reportedly reached a boiling point after Queen Camilla was seen wearing one of the late Queen's favorite sapphire brooches during a recent public appearance. To the casual eye, it was another dazzling royal accessory, but to those inside the palace, it was a spark that reignited deep-seated frustrations. Princess Anne, described by royal aides as uncompromising when it comes to matters of legacy, is said to have confronted senior courtiers privately before directing her concerns to Camilla herself. One insider told reporters that Anne's tone was not diplomatic, it was decisive. She allegedly made it clear that certain jewels, including items of historical and sentimental importance, should be returned to the royal vault out of respect for the late Queen. Those familiar with the late Queen's jewelry arrangements suggest that Anne's argument may have substance. Queen Elizabeth II was known for her meticulous approach to personal belongings and often made clear distinctions between gifts, loans, and heirlooms. Many of her jewels were part of the royal collection, property of the crown itself, not any individual. However, there were also personal pieces she owned privately, often given as gifts from world leaders or family members. It is within this gray area that Anne's reported ultimatum finds its force. She allegedly believes that Camilla has blurred those boundaries, wearing pieces that should have remained symbols of Elizabeth's reign rather than adornments of her own. Behind palace doors, the matter appears to have divided opinion. Some royal aides reportedly side with Princess Anne, arguing that the jewels are part of a national heritage and should not be rebranded under Camilla's queenship. Others, however, insist that Camilla, as queen consort, has every right to represent the monarchy in the same way Elizabeth once did, with jewels that embody the continuity of the crown. But for Anne, who spent decades as one of her mother's most trusted confidants, this is not simply about protocol. It's about memory, respect, and what she reportedly views as a slow erosion of her mother's legacy under the new royal order. Observers note that Anne has always been a straight-talking royal, often described as the family's quiet enforcer. While she rarely seeks the spotlight, she commands immense influence behind the scenes. Those who know her best say she would never risk creating unnecessary drama unless she believed it was truly necessary. That's why this confrontation has caught so many by surprise. For Anne to stand up to the queen consort, it suggests that she sees something deeper at stake, perhaps a pattern of behavior within the palace that she believes could tarnish the memory of the woman who defined modern royalty for 70 years. Reports also indicate that the jewels in question may include pieces of immense symbolic value, such as the queen's signature pearl necklaces and the diamond-studded tiaras associated with her early reign. It's believed that several of these were loaned to senior royals, including Camilla, for state occasions, but never formally passed down. With the transition to a new monarch, some of those arrangements appear to have become blurred. Palace staff reportedly face the difficult task of navigating what was meant to be temporary versus what was gifted outright. Anne, who is said to have personally managed parts of her mother's private estate, may now be asserting her role as the guardian of that legacy. Adding to the tension are whispers that King Charles himself is caught in the middle. Insiders claim he's aware of his sister's concerns but reluctant to publicly intervene, fearing that doing so could fuel speculation of division within the royal family at a time when the monarchy is already facing scrutiny. Yet those close to and say she won't back down. She's not motivated by politics or rivalry, but by principle. One longtime friend reportedly said, and doesn't play games. If she believes something is wrong, she will confront it head-on, even if it means standing alone. For Queen Camilla, this situation places her in a difficult position. She has spent years working to earn acceptance both within the royal circle and among the public, and the last thing she needs is a narrative suggesting she's mishandling the late Queen's personal treasures. Her team, according to reports, insists that every item in her possession is properly documented and lawfully allocated. But as royal watchers know, perception can be as powerful as truth. Even if no wrongdoing occurred, the idea that Camilla might be holding on to jewels meant to symbolize Queen Elizabeth's memory could be enough to reignite public criticism, especially among loyal monarchists who still revere the late Queen's era. What makes this story especially sensitive is the timing. As King Charles continues to balance health concerns and the pressure of modernizing the monarchy, internal disputes like this risk overshadowing the palace's public image. For Princess Anne, however, this seems to be about legacy over optics. Insiders describe her stance as non-negotiable. She allegedly gave a clear message that until those jewels are returned or properly accounted for, she will not consider the matter closed.